Liberal mainstream media may be all about covering the thousands of people in those Bernie Sanders AOC rallies, but the real state of the Democratic Party is in the polls. And as the polls say, Democrats as a party, they are collapsing. Former Clinton pollster Mark Penn, he confirmed it. The Democratic Party's favorable ratings plummeted to a new low of 29%, according to the CNN SSRS poll conducted from March 6th through March 9th. Now, Penn said he's never seen anything like this in over 40 years of polling. He says it's an incredible loss of moderate working class voters, meaning even the Democrats' base are leaving them. And it's not hard to see why. I mean, they just aren't listening to the American people anymore. Just recently, they criticized federal immigration authorities' arrest of a prominent illegal migrant activist, Jeanette Vizagra, framing her as a simple grandmother who isn't receiving due process. Yet she has a criminal record, a criminal history dating back more than 15 years, and has been violating immigration laws for even longer than that. Then, of course, there's the Elon Musk protests that the party seems to be encouraging for some reason. Charging stations and electric cars are being graffitied and they're set on fire. Fox panelist Judge Jeannie Pirro even had to call out Democratic lawmakers who have previously condemned domestic terrorism but have remained silent about the attacks on Elon Musk's company. Jesse Waters was even more straightforward and told the Democratic Party strategist and fellow Fox panelist Jessica Tarlov to tell her people to stop firebombing Tesla facilities. The administration has had enough. Elon Musk has threatened to sue after former Representative Jamal Bowman used a recent TV appearance on CNN to call him a Nazi and a thief. Elon Musk wrote on X, he's had enough. Lawsuit inbound. Same with President Trump. He's already directed U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi to pursue penalties against law firms and lawyers that lodge what he called frivolous litigation against the government. It's just ridiculous to think that the Trump administration has weathered well over 100 lawsuits since late January. Last month alone, the courts imposed 15 injunctions against the president's actions. Definitely way more than the judicial roadblocks that former President Barack Obama and Joe Biden faced during their time. So what does this tell you guys about the Democratic Party? Who are they really working for? Because it sure doesn't seem like it's the American people, you know what I mean? By the way, if you guys appreciate the daily news updates, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate you guys. Now, I'm just glad we've got more and more voters that are waking up to the truth and they're leaving the Democratic Party. Former Clinton pollster Mark Penn, he talked about it on Fox, how even working class moderates are fleeing the party in the latest polls. Here, watch this.
Mark, I got to start with you. You follow this as close as anybody. To say the Democratic Party is in ruins, it doesn't get much stronger than that, Mark.
Well, I've never seen anything like this in over 40 years of polling. The Democratic Party ratings have collapsed from like a 47% favorable down to 29, 27 in some of these polls. And that's an incredible loss of moderate working class voters, those kinds of voters that the Democratic Party needs to win elections, and it's being shrunk to a base of left-wing advocates like Bernie Sanders and AOC who are touring the country carrying the Democratic banner. That's not helping.
I mean, from a 47% favorable down to a 29, 27 in some of these polls, folks. Some even say that 27 is being generous to them. Then again, the party seems to be shrinking to a base that's composed primarily of left-wing advocates like independent Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders and Democratic New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who have been actively promoting the Democratic platform across the country. But according to Penn, that's not helping. They just don't get it. Instead of supporting the popular things that the administration's doing, Democrats have formed a resistance to oppose President Donald Trump's policies, specifically targeting the Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge, headed out by Elon Musk, which has reduced federal agency workers and saved American taxpayers a whole lot of money. In the House, for example, AOC has attacked the Trump-endorsed government spending bill that avoided a government shutdown. She called it a slush fund for Trump and Elon Musk on social media. But moderates like Democratic Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman have slammed his party's resistance to the bill, dismissing it as a total theater. See, they can't even get their own party members to drink their own Kool-Aid, let alone the American people. At this point, it's not about Dems or Republicans. This is about common sense. And so far, only one party is getting that. Am I right, guys? Drop a quick yes in the comments down below. Hit the like button if I'm making sense to you guys. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys. Instead of helping the Trump administration get things done, Democrats are fighting tooth and nail to slow things down. Take, for instance, their wild criticism against ICE arresting Jeanette Vizguera, a 53-year-old Mexican national in the Denver area. Now, immediately following news of her arrest, the mayor of Denver, Mike Johnson, he went so far as to move what was a Putin-style persecution of political dissidents. He said that Jeanette Vizguera is a mother of American citizens, a Target employee, a nonprofit leader, and an immigration reform advocate with no violent criminal record. Now, other Democrats lined up to criticize the due process of the arrest. Colorado Senator Michael Bennet said that ICE should ensure that Jeanette has legal counsel and immediately release her. Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser also pitched in and said that the detaining of a grandma does not appear to be about public safety. Okay, so that's their narrative. But what was missing from it is Vizguera's countless run-ins with local and federal authorities since she was unlawfully entered into the United States roughly 30 years ago, at least according to ICE. She even went on to found anti-ICE groups such as Abolish ICE Denver and the Dreamers Mothers Action Colorado and volunteered for Metro Denver Sanctuary Coalition. Times Magazine named her one of the most influential people in 2017, but the Time profile failed to mention her convictions of local crimes and unlawful entry into the United States. Now, as for due process, an ICE spokesperson confirmed that Jeanette Vizguera is a convicted criminal alien from Mexico who has a final order of deportation issued by a federal immigration judge. She illegally entered the United States near El Paso, Texas, back on December 24, 1997, and she has received legal due process in U.S. immigration court. ICE also took the opportunity to remind these people that under President Trump and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, we are once again a nation of laws. So they will find, arrest, and deport illegal aliens regardless of if they were featured on Time Person of the Year or not. Bottom line, if you come into the country illegally, they will deport you and you'll never return. You see, this is what Democrats don't get. They're always saying things like threats to democracy and racism, but really their actions show the truth. You know what I mean? Urgent warning, guys. The job market is collapsing. The economy is shrinking fast. Layoffs are skyrocketing. The Trump tariffs are already shaking industries. The media won't tell you this, but most high-paying jobs, they're disappearing. And the ones that do remain, they're soon going to be out of reach. But here's the good news, guys. I've put together a list of 30 plus jobs that pay around $100,000 per year without a degree. These are recession-proof jobs, and some are even set to explode in demand thanks to this economic shakeup. No college degree required, no student debt, just real jobs that pay. But I promise, guys, this list is not going to be available forever. So get it right now. Get it before these jobs are flooded by the competition. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link down below so you can get your free list of the 30 plus jobs that pay over $100,000 without a college degree. So download this list before it's too late. Even Democratic strategist Jessica Tarlov could not defend her party actions, or rather inaction, anymore on a recent Fox panel. Here, just watch how she got destroyed by her fellow panelists. Check this out.
Okay, Jessica, the Dems have railed against domestic terrorism for years. And in fact, the 13 who had proposed a federal domestic terrorism law apparently refused to respond to Fox News as to whether or not they felt that they agreed with this being domestic terrorism.
I don't know who they were. I would advise anyone who can go on the record and is in any position of power to come on and denounce any violent action. I think it's pretty simple.
I've only heard of Roe Conner, though.
Well, there have been more people who have said stuff about that for sure. I think Bernie has talked about it. Jasmine Crockett has spoken about it, and she's the one who said
behind March 29th.
But she said, don't be violent.
She said that while saying, it's my birthday. I can't wait. Elon's going to go down. Well, come on.
Okay, do you want to then take responsibility for everyone who sent a pipe bomb that was influenced by Donald Trump? Anyone
What
who...
pipe bomb?
What?
Pipe bomb?
The guy from Florida who was sending pipe bombs to prominent Democrats like Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, George Soros. Is that now it's
got
Trump's
one
fault?
example?
No, I don't have one example. People who show up and shoot up Walmarts looking for brown people. You want to take people who've been influenced by Donald Trump.
But
or
that's not Donald
Republican.
Trump calling for that.
Really?
The Democrats are calling for the destruction.
No one is calling.
Tim Walz is calling for the destruction of the company.
He's saying he wants the stock to go down. And I said yesterday, I thought that was really stupid. And Ro Khanna is right. His 20,000 people who work at Tesla. There are hundreds of millions of dollars in Tesla stock that fuel these pensions or fund these pensions, I should say. It has to, that part of it absolutely has to stop. If you don't want to buy the car, don't buy the car. If you want to sell the car, sell the car. But Donald Trump saying on Truth Social that maybe you'll go to El Salvador. At this moment, when the ACLU attorneys are reporting that people have been falsely sent to El Salvador, which is what we said was going to happen, they're being sent back because guess what? They're not Venezuelan, and also they send some women, and El Salvador doesn't want to take women. Are you going to finally admit that the way that they are vetting these people is inaccurate?
You're into vetting now. Vetting is good now.
That's so funny. You guys are so cool. What about the Venezuelan soccer player who was tortured by the Maduro regime and was sent to El Salvador? He had a legitimate asylum claim, went through a legal port of entry.
What about the Americans who've been murdered by illegals? Let's not do all this.
Why not? Because it doesn't suit you right now.
Democrats and whether or not they're voicing any kind of negative. It's not ridiculous.
It is.
The question was a simple one, and you can't answer it.
I did answer it. I answered it explicitly because I'm a grown-up.
All right.
And I can say, oh, Janine asked me a question. Here's my answer. Also, Janine, then could you answer my question? Do you think it's okay that innocent people are being sent to a foreign gulag?
I think that what's important is that we get rid of. Okay, I think what's important is that we get rid of the criminals in this country. That your favorite president allowed to come into this country and create
criminals.
To create all kinds of havoc in this country. And you know what? If you want to talk about vetting, then we have to talk about Joe. But Jesse, let me ask you this: is it time to invest in Tesla?
I'm invested. I've been invested, so go for it if you want. Am I in trouble now, Jessica?
I probably am invested too.
Okay, good. So tell your people to stop firebombing.
I have.
I mean, it's kind of hard to argue when you're trying to defend a losing party, especially when you're not a Democratic fan club show like The View. You know what I mean? Now, as Judge Jeannie Pirro brought up, the Dems have rallied against domestic terrorism for years. And in fact, the 13 who had proposed a federal domestic terrorism law apparently refused to respond to Fox News as to whether or not they felt that they agreed with the Tesla destruction as being domestic terrorism. Instead, lawmakers like Democratic Texas Representative Jasmine Crockett have called for Elon Musk to be taken down. Also, Democratic vice presidential nominee Tim Walz, who gloated about Tesla stocks dropping while on stage during his tour around the country. So Jesse Waters urged Jessica Tarlov to tell her people to stop firebombing Tesla stations. Now, it's about time, too, that the administration fought back against the deliberate and unprovoked destruction. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced charges against the 3 individuals arrested for violently destroying Tesla properties. In their statement, the Department of Justice said that the individuals would face the full force of the law using Molotov cocktails to set fire to Tesla cars and charging stations. Pam Bondi declared that the days of committing crimes without consequence have ended. Let this be a warning. If you join the wave of domestic terrorism against Tesla properties, the Department of Justice will put you behind bars. Now, remember, guys, evil wins when good men do nothing. So we, the decent people of America, we should be standing and defending Elon Musk's work for the good of humanity. Now, at the very least, like this video, drop a quick comment so that more people can see what we're talking about here. Also share this video. I really appreciate this. We need to get the word out. Now, Elon Musk is taking matters into his own hands. He declared on X that he's had enough. Lawsuit inbound. This after former Congressman Jamal Bowman, who, by the way, lost his primary last July, went on CNN and told a panel of commentators that the American people do not trust Elon Musk and Elon Musk is incompetent in his position. But not just that. Jamal Bowman went on to say that Elon Musk is a thief and a Nazi, and people don't trust him. That's why Elon's mother, May Musk, called on her son to sue CNN and other outlets for peddling this Nazi salute narrative crap. Because it's not just him. Bowman's former squad member, Ayanna Pressley, said as recently as last month that Elon Musk was a Nazi Nepo baby. So Now, Elon Musk seems ready to sue. And from the looks of things, he has a pretty good case against these Democrats. For one, conservative journalist Andy Ngio pointed out that accusing people of crimes is not protected opinion. And CNN itself putting itself at risk of liability for bringing on guests who repeat potentially defamatory claims unchallenged. Republican lawmakers Mike Lee and Nancy Mace, they're pushing for it. As Lee pointed out, defamation against conservatives cannot go unaddressed or it will never end. Mace even went even shorter and said, hey, fight back. That's what President Trump is doing against these attorneys who lob frivolous, unreasonable litigation against his administration. He said in a presidential memo to U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi that they're going to pursue penalties against these law firms and lawyers, especially considering civil procedure rules barring lawyers from lodging legal filings to harass or cause unnecessary delay. I mean, that's what these people are doing, right? Harassing and causing unnecessary delays for the administration. And we don't need that. Other opinions on the table, Trump mentioned reassessment of security clearances and cutting off government contracts with law firms. One example that he gave was the Elias Law Firm LLP founders' push for the Clinton campaign solicitation of the debunked Steele dossier. Now, if you guys remember, the Steele dossier is a collection of reports compiled in 2016 by former British intelligence officer Christopher Steele, alleging connections between Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign and Russian officials, including claims of misconduct and conspiracy. And pretty much like everything that they throw at Trump, the allegations were later debunked with investigations finding no conclusive evidence to support claims of collusion between Trump's campaign and Russian officials. Again, no conclusive evidence. Now, there's also Paul Weiss, a top law firm that has done work for Democratic clients. Now, the Trump administration, via executive order, restricted it from representing clients before the federal government. So they agreed to give $40 million worth of pro bono legal services to the Trump administration to overcome the executive order and basically fall in line. Democratic law firm Perkins Coie also had their lawyers barred from entering government buildings or engaging with federal agencies because Perkins Coie funded opposition research against Trump that played a key role in the crafting of the Steele dossier during the 2016 campaign. You see what I'm talking about here, guys? Just pure outright malice from these people, and President Trump knows it. Man, I can't wait to see these people being brought to justice. But what about you guys? Do you feel the same way? Do you want to see these ill-intentioned individuals being brought to justice? Drop a quick yes or no in the comments down below. Let's get a conversation going. Also, more in-depth discussions like this in our recommended videos, so definitely check those out at the end of this one. All right, guys? As always, thanks for hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you next time.